In recent years, there is a growing interest in nanoparticles that are extremely tiny materials and their effects on environment and health. Nano comes from the Greek word nanos for dwarf. Nanoparticles have dimensions between 1 and 100 nanometers, therefore they are too tiny to be seen by naked eye. But how big is nano? A nanometer is 1/1000th of a meter. On a comparative scale, if a 1 nanometer nanoparticle was the size of an apple, then a football would be as big as the Earth. And what is so special about it? Scientists are now able to manipulate the matter to scale it down to few nanometers, and that gives the material new properties that do not exist in the bigger scale. For example, some nanoparticles, due to their small size, can reach locations that bigger particles cannot. Among the groups of nanoparticles, silver nanoparticles attract more and more investment, and the number of products containing silver nanoparticles is continuously increasing over the years. They have found many applications and they are being incorporated in washing machines, clothing, food supplements, creams, and other personal care products. Their frequent use in consumer products is due to their antimicrobial properties. Silver nanoparticles and the silver ions that are released from them are toxic to a broad range of bacteria and microbes. However, this has also raised many environmental concerns. Nanoparticles may end up in the environment during the production, use or life cycle of a product and reach the organisms from different trophic levels. Also, there are mixtures of chemical compounds present in the environment at the same time, and silver nanoparticles could cause additional stress to the organisms exposed. All organisms, from bacteria and small freshwater organisms to humans, can protect themselves from various types of chemicals present in the environment. One of the first types of defense mechanism is commonly known as multi-xenobiotic resistance. This defense is due to the presence of proteins located in the membranes of the cells that act as transporters or efflux pumps, driving contaminants out of the cell. The efflux pumps present in the cell membrane could be compared to a pinball game. Whenever a toxic compound is trying to enter the cell, it is recognized by the transporter and it is expelled out of the cell. However, there are many chemicals that can block the activity of the pumps, and therefore toxic compounds that would normally be excluded can now enter the cell. Could it be that nanoparticles and the ions released act in a similar way? Our research in the lab has shown that the nanoparticle size determines the uptake by the cells and organisms and their effects. The nanoparticle synthesis method is an important factor. Both nanoparticles and the ions released contribute to effects and a compromised efflux pump activity. At the same time, there are many questions and issues we are trying to solve. What will happen in a real field situation? What are the factors that affect uptake? Can nanoparticles accumulate in the organisms through the diet?